Uh, Welcome to Baat Ki Baat session 41 on apartment lifts, safety, servicing, modernization, and compliance. Before we start, some house rules, please. Please keep your video off at all times as it interferes with the bandwidth. Please post your queries on the chat window, which can be taken up during Q&A after the presentation is done. Now I'll hand it over to Mr. Shankar, who will be moderating the session. Mr. Shankar Swaminathan is the Governing Council member. He's the Vice President of BAF. He has been handling the safety aspect for us, which is fire safety, lift safety, etc. Shankar, on to you.
Okay, thank you, Sandhya. Welcome all of you from the BAF fraternity. Thank you for joining us. And for quite some time, we have been wanting to get some information shared amongst our community on lifts. And so we have been working with vendors to come forward and do some general informative session for us. And lifts, as our own original invite said, are the most used facility in all our complexes. So here is one opportunity that we have from Johnson Lifts, and they have come forward to share with us some information on lifts, the way probably that makes it easy for many of us common people, though we are using this facility. So I would first like to invite into this group Mr. Balasubramaniam, who heads the operations group of Johnson's in Bangalore, and I would like him to go forward and lead this presentation. So may I request Mr. Balasubramaniam, please can you come on the screen and share with us the presentation and the information that you can give us in today's session. Over to you, Mr. Bala. Please unmute yourself first.
Hello, are you hearing me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, are you hearing, sir?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to join in Bangalore Apartment Federation meeting, sir. Point number one. Sir, I am Balasubramanian. I am heading the operations of Karnataka here. Along with me, my colleague, Mr. Abhishek, marketing manager, has joined. So, who is going to present our PPT? What are the requirement as per the requirement? We are going to present it, sir. So, he will do the needful, sir. So, I am giving the changeover to Mr. Abhishek, sales, marketing. Abhishek.
Mr. Abhishek, please unmute yourself and come on this line. Has he joined? I don't see his name.
Yeah, he is joined under the name of Maran.
Maran, okay, fine. Mr. Abhishek, please unmute yourself.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning to the members of BAF. First of all, thanks for inviting us to be part of your program, and coming and presenting this. I was also sort of exploring your website, and I could see a very dynamic, very well prepared for this. So I took enough time, and then I thought I should and be very presentation to keep it very specific and the elements to that had been so I love share my shall I share
Abhishek, your voice is not reaching us well. So
hello,
Can others hear him? I have some
Is it?
disruptions.
Hello? No?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Am I audible?
Yeah,
The
it is
bandwidth
clear.
seems to be not supporting us.
Okay, it's
It's clear
clearer
now?
now.
All right.
Yeah, can you share your screen, please?
I do that, yeah. Is my screen visible now?
No.
No, is it not? Give me a moment. I don't know. Is it now? No?
No, I'm unable to see.
All right.
We are unable to see.
Okay. Giving it a try. Okay. Okay. No, it just says waiting for people to see the screen. Okay, giving it a okay. Can you see it now?
No.
Hello?
No.
Visible. It is not visible.
Okay. Your network connection is zero. Now?
No.
No, please.
Unable to see it yet.
Your network connection is getting re-established is the message that I'm getting now.
Okay. I'll show
Can
the
I
previous
no,
one which you had sent
immediate-
me. Can I show that?
Can I send this to you? Or shall I send this one to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's not visible even now?
No.
Okay. I'll just send it immediately.
Sandhya, would you like to share the screen on his behalf? He has sent some presentation yesterday.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one I have. I don't have the latest one. So
Okay, we can see it now.
Share,
I
share.
can.
Okay. Now? No.
Yes.
You can see the screen, is it?
Now the screen is quite easily visible.
Thank you.
but
Okay. So, shall I start? If
Yes,
the screen
Please
is
do.
visible?
Please.
Yeah. Thank you, and thanks for your patience and time of waiting for almost 5 to 10 minutes. I feel there was some bandwidth problem, and hence I was unable to share the screen. So, elevator industry or vertical transportation, I quote like put the
Abhishek, sorry.
members of Thomas Alpha Research.
Abhishek,
You need,
hello.
Yeah. Imagine.
Abhishek, sorry, we are unable to see. There's a lot of disturbance
Hello,
in your
please.
noise.
Please.
Yeah, the audio signal is breaking frequently. What you can probably do, Abhishek, is ask one of your colleagues to share the screen. I mean, whatever presentation you want to make, so that much bandwidth is available to you to speak. Okay. See if that works.
Okay. All right, then. Now, I should be audible now. I've just changed my. Now I've Hello. On the connectivity problem, I have not really see. I think there is some should be right. Change network right now. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Abhishek.
Hello.
Is there still a problem on?
I don't know why, because I've changed my service provider also from Jio to Airtel. I don't know. Hello. Hello. Not audible.
Go ahead, Abhishek. We can hear you.
Is audible.
Okay. So to begin with, yeah. So before I begin this presentation, to repeat, like to quote, words, Thomas Edison, those words when a good imagination and a pile of in the 18th century, transportation started enabling about animals, system of back then the transportation system. It all similarly of I also put the word of problem where say a need of changes to meet. So it the problem from human more ways of
sorry, Abhishek. Hello.
First return came
Hello, Abhishek.
First ABC.
Abhishek, sorry, we are still.
Voice is not clear.
Yeah.
Voice is not coming clearly.
Hello.
Your voice is not coming clearly.
The voice is audio is very poor. No, probably we are not able to hear you at all. To make any sense of what you are trying to convey.
No, okay. I can hear you. I don't know why my voice. Okay. I think
If it's
we need to
difficult, we should do it again later.
so how should we,
You are not
how
ready
should we
with
take
the
this?
audio system is weak.
Hello. Is that
Abhishek, can you just log in from your phone and do the talking? Mute your
the device is perfect. It's just about the bandwidth. No, no. It's just about the bandwidth.
Yeah, I understand that. Probably your phone may give you a better this one on mobile or Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Looks like Abhishek has dropped out. He will be joining in a minute. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, Abhishek.
Can
Yeah,
you
we
see
can
the
see
screen
your
now?
screen. Yeah.
Yeah. I've changed my service provider. Let me see. I'll give you a. Is it clear now? Audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yes.
Seems to be better with this network. Yeah. Yesterday during the trial run, it was all perfect. I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today it's
So shall we go ahead then?
yeah. Just a moment. I'll maximize the screen. So yeah, let me start from the evolution. I mean, when did it start? How did it start? Uh, I would like to briefly talk about the evolution. As I've mentioned here in my presentation, during the Roman Empire at the Colosseum Arena in the 1st century BC, the arena hosted around 24 elevator cages. Can you believe this? Back then, they had this arrangement, which was operated in the form of human force. That is, some 224 men in a team of 8 used to work on a single winch to lift the gladiators, people, and animals up into the Colosseum. That's when it basically started. People started thinking about lifting objects, animals, and then finally humans. So then after that, during the Middle Ages, we could see certain, Montean monasteries use small basket elevators to transport people and goods to high altitudes. So with the passing time, the evolution was supported by a revolution in hydraulic elevators. Then came in hydraulic elevators. Basically, it consisted of plunger pumps were used as a crank mechanism to create a reciprocating motion. Then in the year 1850, I think rope geared elevators with multiple pulleys were introduced. So this because the solution was not really practical for taller buildings, the rope geared elevators with multiple pulleys was introduced by Henry Waterman, as I mentioned here. So elevators in the present form factors, if I talk about which we have today, it was basically invented by Mr. Elisha Graves Otis, who was keen about the security part of an elevator. So he himself did that famous testing, demo sort of thing back in the year 1854 at an exhibition. So yeah, basically he called it an automatic brake elevator. He demonstrated it by way of a man with an axe cutting his rope that held the elevator intact without falling down. That's when the security mechanisms were being thought upon. And then later, after that invention by Elisha Otis, in the year 1870, I think, yeah, a 5-story department store in New York City was the first one to install a proper elevator with security access intact. Then in the year 1880, I believe, a German inventor, namely Hermann Siemens, built the first electric elevator. So the electric elevator came in the year 1880. Now, yeah, let me take you to the, need of elevators in today's time, or elevators being part of our lives. As you can clearly, understand that, following are the reasons for which elevators have become part of our lives. Because of the vertical rise in urban areas and even tier 2 and tier 3 cities, the costly land parcels have led to this. Scarcity of land at prime spots, rapid urbanization. So when I talk about costly land parcels, I would love to give an example here. Today, the costliest land parcels around the world, if I can give you some examples, are in Monaco, which is on $49,000 per square meter. Similarly, second comes New York in the world, which is around $34,000 a square meter. So similarly, it is followed by London, Tropez, Sydney. Now, if I talk about India and coming to our own home place, that is Bangalore. Here, as you know, some of the costliest places are your Sadashiv Nagar, which is around 20-25,000 square feet per meter. Chandla Nagar, that's the Lavalier Road, which is around 20,000 square feet per meter, followed by Richmond, Indira Nagar, and Koramangala. So these are the reasons why the vertical rise has taken place, and similarly rapid urbanization, as I spoke about. According to a survey in 2017, the World Bank has given this report that around 34% of population in urban areas of India are migrated. We stand somewhere in the 5th place in largest urban agglomeration in India, followed by Chennai. So, Mumbai stands first, Delhi being second, Kolkata and Chennai being third and fourth. So now talking about the migration of masses to metros is also an important factor. In India, more than 50% of the population of 6 cities is a migrant population. That is Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai. This was a study conducted by World Bank, and it has come to this conclusion that more than 50% of the population is migrated. Similarly, a burden of daily long distance commute. Everybody wants to be around their workplace, around certain commercial establishments. Hence, the commute they want to reduce it to. And need for high-rise commercial infrastructure. Similarly, there are certain need for commercial infrastructure. Government policies like smart cities have led to vertical development in our. Now coming to a brief introduction about my company. Johnson Lifts started its journey in the year 1963. So we first installed an elevator in the year 1966. Similarly, today we are the largest manufacturers. I mean, with respect to volumes, are the largest manufacturers of elevators in India. We have 4 factories spread across India, 3 being in the south of India, Chennai, and 1 being in Nagpur. So one of them is an escalator manufacturing factory. I'll briefly take you through our factories based out in Chennai. So one on the extreme right is a 155-feet tower, which is used to test the elevators. The other 3 you see are elevators and escalator manufacturing factories. So I'm being told not to give detailed information or detailed explanation about my brand. I'm being asked to be specific about the vertical transportation industry. So coming back from my company introduction and profile to the type of elevators. Elevators are basically classified into passenger lifts that we use regularly, hospital lifts, which you have seen in hospitals. Hospital lifts usually are wide and come with stretchers. Car lifts, as the name suggests, car lifts are, you might have seen in malls wherein the multi-level parking has to accommodate the cars. Then similarly, goods lifts, freight lifts, home lifts are usually in your duplex or triplex homes wherein an elevator is being used. So then similarly, scenic lifts are those as capsule or more aesthetically friendly lifts. Similarly, if I talk about escalators, escalators are into 2 types: commercial indoor, that we see inside or indoors of a mall or a commercial establishment. Then you see heavy duty outdoor, which are rugged outside, for example, in your railway stations, in your metro stations, which are exposed to your sunlight and rain. So they withstand those heavy exposure. Now coming back to mechanisms of lifts. So basically lifts are classified into 2 mechanisms: traction lifts and hydraulic lifts. As you all know, in traction lift, a motor is attached to a sheave. You can look at the diagram, and a motor is attached to a sheave with a rope or a cable looped over it. The rope is attached to one end of the lift car and the other end to the counterweight. So This is the mechanism which is used in traction lifts. So basically, it is a counterweight that balances it. So coming to hydraulic lifts, hydraulic elevator is basically driven by a piston, and the piston movement can be done by pumping hydraulic oil to the cylinder. Here in the diagram, you can have a look at the door, an image of the hydraulic elevator wherein the piston, the shaft doors, the buffers in the pit are visible. Now, so after taking you through traction lifts and hydraulic lifts, basically traction lifts are being used in present days, and hydraulic lifts are rarely used because hydraulic lifts do not serve you to more than 15 meters of building, because it is being run on a piston and is not safe entirely. And also hydraulic lifts require a lot of maintenance. Now coming back to important parts of an elevator which I want to specifically highlight. One is the motor. Motor basically comes into a geared motor and gearless motor. Then the most important part of an elevator being the controller, which we relate to, or maybe we can relate it to our brain, which is the one that decides the actions and the feedbacks in an elevator. Then again, car, which accommodates people, passengers and goods, and the aesthetic features of car. So these three are the most important parts in an elevator. Now coming to the motor part, PMSM gearless machines, as I've mentioned here, are being used presently, and these are the most safe and efficient motors. Permanent magnetic synchronous motors use permanent magnets, as seen here in the diagram, embedded in the steel rotor to create a constant magnetic field and excitation, and then that's when the excitation is created and the motor starts operating. Earlier it was induction motors that were being used, and induction motors are mostly used in geared machines. So here the speed limit is higher, they have higher installation and maintenance costs, and they are not environment friendly. I'm talking about the geared motors. If I talk about the advantages of gearless PMSM motors, the rotating parts lead to no place for mechanical wear and tear, hence they have a prolonged life. The ride comfort is much better. You can say up to 60% power efficiency also comes along with the gearless motor. The ride quality is better, and it is environment friendly, and the energy saving is high because there is no transmission mechanism, and hence there is no mechanical power loss. Installation is simple because the structure is compact and light in a gearless motor, and the operation is smooth without noise and vibration. So most of the elevators that we see around today being installed in the last 10 years, 5 to 10 years, are gearless machines with permanent magnetic synchronous motors. Now, I'll give you a small comparison between a machine room and a machine roomless facility. Basically, in elevators, there is two types of accommodation that can be given. One is a machine room elevator, machine room access, and another is a machine roomless accommodation. In a machine room accommodation, basically a lift motor room, referred to as a machine room, is a room that houses the machinery and electrical controls that operate a lift. It is above the last floor of your building. It requires high speed and high rise. For traction lift, the room is usually located above the hoistway. It is often on a rooftop of a building, and a lift motor room will typically contain, within that machine room, you will find a motor, electric disconnects, counterweights, counterweight governor, firearm devices, rope grippers, light fixtures, and light control switch. A machine room, I think, should always be ventilated well and should be protected from exposure to rain, water, and extreme sunlight for obvious reasons. Similarly, a machine roomless, these are the type of elevators that do not require a machine room because the traction machines and controllers have been made compact. They are very compact and often are installed on the hoistway itself. They don't require a machine room. The controller of a machine roomless elevator is designed compact to be installed flat inside the hoistway. The use of an inverter allows for a smooth drive control, and they have roller guides that rotate to allow for smooth movement along the rail and a comfortable ride in the car. They help in reducing noise and vibration. Often the machine roomless ones help in reducing noise and vibration. Now, after machine roomless and machine room accommodation, now coming to control systems. As I said, and to repeat, a controller is like the brain of an elevator, which controls the movement of the elevator. So it basically supports safe drives, acceleration, deceleration, halts, inverter control to stop the elevator in position. And suppose in case of multiple elevators, the drive functions can be elevated by a group control system. So as you can see, the components of a controller can be classified under inputs. Basically, the inputs are sensors, buttons that are visible in a car, then key controls and system controls. Similarly, outputs are classified under actuators and bells and display. Controllers, if I talk about, are the devices that manage the visual monitoring, interactive command control and traffic analysis system to ensure the elevators are functioning efficiently, basically. Now let me run to the next slide. The other important mechanisms in an elevator after controller are automatic rescue device, overspeed governors, and V3F drives. So coming to automatic rescue device, as I've mentioned, is a device that is placed within an elevator that comes into action during the event of a power failure. So in earlier times, ARDs were not available and it was difficult to rescue a person. Now with ARDs, this device makes the lift to travel to an immediate floor, next floor, by way of power supply required for the movement of the elevator. Coming to overspeed governor. Overspeed governors include a switch that opens when the elevator reaches a predetermined velocity. When the switch opens, power is removed from machine motor and brake, thereby impeding the motion of the elevator. So this is about overspeed governor. It is usually, it controls the unwanted, speeds during acceleration and deceleration. And similarly, talking about V3F drives, as being mentioned here, V3F means variable frequency, variable voltage drive. This drive influences the moving lift speed to avoid sudden jerks and similar jerks both while accelerating and decelerating. VCF drives basically help in ride comforts during start and stop and during leveling accuracy. Now coming to the other important part of an elevator, that is your cabin space. Cabin spaces accommodate passengers and goods. They come with various aesthetic features, forms and designs. So these are various forms and designs that you can have a look at. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So there is continuity network, right? Because and see any response here. Hello.
Okay, continue. It's clear. No issue. Continue.
No, okay, thank you. Yeah. So the car cabins, as I've mentioned here, car cabins are spaces that accommodate passengers and goods. They come with various aesthetic features, forms, and designs. Now, within that car cabin, you'll find fixtures like these, which are handrails, buttons, then landing operating panels that you see at the landing, then hall lanterns that you see at the landing operating panel. Now I also want to talk about, 1 minute, the displays. These are some of the displays that we have: LED displays, touch displays, and then you'll see the flooring here, then car operating panels that you see within or inside the car. Then you'll see ceilings, different types of ceilings. Then you'll see the finishes within a car. The finishes within a car come with different color patterns, come with different specifications. For example, a stainless steel pattern. I'll get back to that. This is a stainless steel pattern. And then this, the third one on the extreme right, is a capsule lift. Then the first one here, as you can see. Yeah. Okay. Now coming to modernization, it's being specifically asked to talk about modernization during this meeting. Modernization, basically, as you all know, is the process of upgrading an elevator by changing the critical components with new technology. The obvious reason being better performance, enhanced safety, reliability, energy saving, and aesthetics, importantly. And why do we need modernization? Because it provides efficiency, operational efficiency, reduce equipment downtime as against the previously installed elevators, extended lives compared to the previously older generation of elevators, and they ensure these equipments ensure compliance with the presently applicable codes, and similarly comfort levels are high in today's elevators that we're using. The aesthetics are better, and safety, which is the most important feature in the present elevators as against the older ones. Now, what should we modernize? Basically, the modernization can be of the controller or the motor itself, the door operations. The older ones used to be your iron, bar doors. Then car cabins, that is within the car, the aesthetics can be modernized. Now, how would this be done? How does a modernization in your site happen? It would be like, basically a team from OEM manufacturer company will arrive and make a survey and a feasibility check. They'll submit a proposal based on whether it is suitable to modernization or not. Then there'll be some general arrangement drawings that will be made. The arrangement drawings are being sent to the production department of an OEM manufacturer, and after the arrangement drawings are being approved, the production clearance happens. So basically, once the production clearance is being done and it gets into the production mode, the parallel site is also prepared to support the installation. Now, finally, after the installation is being done over a period of 40 to 45 days of ordering it, then erection testing and handing over is being done. So testing basically consists of the acceleration and deceleration testing and other factors within the elevator, and then it is being handed over to the person who is looking for a modernization. Now, coming back to the Make in India concept, and again briefly I wanted to talk about Johnson's Make in India presence. Johnson Lifts today contributes to Make in India and also to the vocal for local concept being raised by the PM of India. We were selected to
Abhishek?
No audio.
Unable to hear, Abhishek.
Your audio is off. It says you're not connected to the audio. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, now we can hear.
Okay. Again, the network seems to be not supporting it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was talking about Johnson's presence in Make in India. So Johnson has been successfully able to deliver indigenously manufactured high-quality elevators and escalators to want vertical transportation needs in Indian government stream projects like metro rail, railway stations, airports, and government buildings under smart city concepts. The government buildings under smart city concepts. So we have been able to reach more than 27 airports, around 14 metro rail projects and counting now, and more than 395 railway stations, and the famous Statue of Unity. Now, this is about the Make in India and vocal for local concept, wherein Johnson is the only Indian manufacturer to indigenously develop escalators and elevators and serve our vertical transportation needs. Now, I would also like to talk about the do's and don'ts of an elevator that you have already installed in your respective buildings and apartments. Now I'm being asked specifically to talk about the do's and don'ts of having an elevator. One is during a breakdown, kindly go and check the power supply. Check if all three phases of power supply are available. These are the do's. Check the incoming main fuses. Check whether all the landing gates and lift gates are closed properly. Please check whether all the three phases are in sequence. And similarly, do not load the lift beyond the rated load. Do not allow water into the well and machine rooms. Do not touch the lift parts without switching off the power supply. Do not tamper with any of the controller circuits, which is the most important part in a machine room accommodation. Now, the precautions that have to be followed of having an elevator, the passengers, precautions or safety measures for relieving the passengers trapped inside the lift. The following steps should be observed. The lift has stopped in between floors. Normally, last portion would be visible from one of the landings. So that landing for carrying out the rescue operations should be selected. The key door opening key should be used in provisions provided about the push box. Push the door open and push the door key open and open the door lock. Help the passenger to come out of the lift. See that he does not slip into the lift shaft. If any stool is provided for stepping on, please hold it firmly to prevent it from slipping. And similarly, some of the questions to be followed, the cautions to be followed are, the rescue operation should only be carried out by an experienced and responsible person, one who has been administered the job or from the OEM manufacturer. Please do not allow children to carry out the rescue operation. If you are trapped in the lift, do not panic. Press the alarm bell or shout for help. Do not press any buttons unnecessarily while the rescue operation is in progress. These are some of the safety measures that have to be followed. And running to the next slide. Now again, talking about the Iris, Johnson Iris, which was basically introduced during this pandemic. It is about touchless call booking facility, wherein Johnson provides an app, which is and basically a barcode is being pasted on an elevator, and with an app, an iOS and Android supported app, through your mobile phone, you can book the call without touching the buttons of an elevator. So this is one of the introductions that we have been given by Johnson during this pandemic. After introducing this, we have also introduced food touch call actions, wherein we can go for call booking through a touch of the foot. Now, running to the next slide. So, in an elevator maintenance, the important factors are what needs to be maintained basically in an elevator. One is the machine room, the elevator shaft, the car top, elevator pit, the controllers, the ARD, and the speed governor. These are being followed by the OEM service providers. And if I talk about machine room, in a geared machine room, you have to usually the maintenance is for oil levels, whether to replace the oil, bearings of the shafts, and motor bearings, and also greasing the wheels. If I talk about gearless machines, the maintenance would consist of greasing the bearings, and after some years maybe the bearings have to be changed. And if I talk about the controller, according to I think usually it depends on the number of operations. That is, for example, after 10,000 operations, it has to be maintained again. For example, the contactor has to be replaced. There is something called as a contactor, which has to be replaced. There are relays in the controller that have to be replaced. There are power drives, that is, capacitor banks within the power drives that have to be checked. Now, also, we have to maintain the ropes, cleaning excessive oil which is being formed on the wire ropes. It has to be cleaned so that there are no jerks. And then similarly, there is something called a speed governor. Speed governor should be tested whether it is acting properly or not. Then we have to examine the earthing. The earthing has to be checked periodically. Then within the shaft there are guide rails. The guide rails, they lubricate the guide rail. We should lubricate the guide rail through an oil feeder basically, and we should also examine the liners within. Now, if I talk about car door maintenance, basically door bearings have to be examined and maintained. Now, if I talk about ARD, that is the automatic rescue device that I spoke about briefly. ARD maintenance basically consists of whether the battery is in good condition, whether battery charging properly or not, and whether the safety circuits in the doors are proper or not. Similarly, finally, we have to also examine the pit, examination of the hydraulic buffer that is present in the pit, whether the oil is in sufficient quantity or not, and if not, then changing of the oil. So after elevator maintenance, which is being done by the OEM suppliers, coming to the lift compliances. I was also being asked to talk about the lift compliances. Some of the, first of all, the installation and maintenance of the lift shall be carried out by the lift manufacturers themselves. That's what is being prescribed, authorized and approved lift agencies. And every lift or escalator or conveyor shall be installed and operated as per the requirements specified in the relevant code of practices of the Indian Bureau of Indian Standards. Now, similarly, National Electrical Code also prescribes certain compliances which have to be followed. Similarly, National Building Code has certain specifications that have to be followed. Now, what are certain important compliances? One is lift shaft shall be shown in the architect plan. It's always mandatory to show the lift shaft in the architect plan before you install an elevator. It should be approved by the concerned authority. A building above 15 meters from the ground level. Sorry?
The number of floors is very mandatory. Architect plan should say how many floors.
Yes.
Yeah. How many landings they have to say.
Correct. The number of landings have to be clearly mentioned, and permission to install the lift using form, a form A is being provided to get the permission, and then permission to replace the old lift can be taken from CIEG, that is in case of modernization. And similarly, license renewal has to be done once in 10 years. And also the compulsory fire rating doors have to be given. These are some of the lift compliances that have to be followed. Now, if I talk about coming to building management systems that are being used in certain commercial establishments wherein there is a presence of group elevators, wherein you have more than 2 up to 8 elevators being adjacently placed. Now, what is a building management system? BMS, basically, as you all are aware of, is a computer-based control system installed in a building that is synced with elevators to monitor. And the main benefits of a BMS system, as I've mentioned, is actionable predictive maintenance and data recording and analysis of key operating parameters, basically, and faster service, less downtimes, and remote monitoring and troubleshooting, real-time notifications. Yeah. So building management systems have now been seen in various commercial establishments around in Bangalore as well. Traffic analysis, basically, before getting into a project, suppose it is a high-rise apartment or a commercial establishment, and the flow of traffic is too high, then there is something called as traffic analysis that is being given by the OEM partner. It is basically conducted to offer an optimum plan, and it depends on certain parameters, that is number of floors that is being planned for, the building specifications, the type of building it is, and the population of the building that is going to use it, what would be the peak hours, non-peak hours, and similarly, based on that, a report is being given as a traffic analysis report by the OEM manufacturer, say Johnson. Now, it gives a report saying you need so many elevators in that establishment. You have to have this type of an elevator. You have to have this speed. This speed is recommended for your elevators considering the number of floors and the traffic. Similarly, the capacity for each elevator will be recommended, and average waiting time will be suggested based on the population being given by the client, and similarly number of service floors that have to be provided, deciding the elevator layouts, where exactly should the elevator fit in, which will be most optimal for the people to travel, and then grouping of elevators if needed. If there is a need for grouping of elevators, then the traffic analysis will also suggest for that. Now, coming to the next thing. Yeah, I think I'm done with this presentation. I would like to keep it open for inquiries here or any concerns that are being raised.
Parts which should be required every year or very frequently.
Hello, sir. Come again, sir.
I just is it audible?
Yes, audible.
Yeah, I want to know the consumable parts which should be used very frequently, like in a year.
Yes.
What are the consumables required?
Yes, Abhishek, I will answer this question.
Oh, okay.
So the consumable in the lift is point number one is every year. Suppose it is a non-geared lift, we have to replace the oil, gear oil. That is the main thing. Then we have to lubricate the motor bearings, and we have to change shoe liners. Shoe liners is the car were traveling on the gate rail. We have provided the Teflon or nylon or acrylic liners we used to give. This will give a wear and tear every year. It has to be maintained and it has to be replaced every year. So these are the consumable items. Other things are your buttons, what are the limit switches, terminal switches, door switches, door opening limit switch, closing limit switch, that has to be replaced. Third one is the batteries, your alarm batteries, ARD batteries. Normally ARD batteries will come to 1.5 to 3 years, but it has to be maintained. And suppose nowadays everything is battery. In olden days we have to fill up the distilled waters, other things, we will maintain the things. These are the things we have to replace. every year. If it is once in 3 years, we have to check the brake liners. Liners what provided in the brake has to be replaced in the once in 3 years. Apart from that, the motor bush to be replaced. Whatever the bush earlier days. So nowadays that gearless drive, we have to do the lubrication in the grease lubrication in the bay nowadays in the mission robot. Again, the overspeed governor to be calibrated and cross-checked in once in a year. The controller side, once in a year we have to check the contractors, electrical contractors, which are all used to switching on the lift, switching off the lifts, any arc, any failure is there, or any contact is not making improper, or poor contact, any insulation or resistance developed in the contactor due to the arcing. That has to be checked and replaced with the controller parts. Coming to the mechanical side, the rope has to be monitored. Normally, our wire ropes will, if it is maintained properly, lubricated properly, it will come for minimum 10 to 15 years based on the usage. Whereas in the apartment sector, where the 4-5 landings apartment, it will come for 15 years. Whereas high-rise building, it will come for 7 years. Whereas in the commercial, 3-4 years it will come. Thereafter, it's required a maintenance, lubrication, or it required a replacement. It has to be maintained. It has to be cross-checked in after 3 years. Thereafter, is coming to the sensor side. Those sensor has to be checked because it is being continuously used. What is the quality of sensor and cables, whatever are collected to that thing, it has to be checked and replaced in 3 years. After the 5 years, we have to go and check the
important consumer question.
confused. After 5 years, we have to check the circuit boards, which are the logic circuit boards, and the buttons, your whatever the push buttons, landing LOP, or push button, landing push button, and displays. Normally, after the 5 years, the displays, whatever the showing LCD or LED or dot matrix, whatever the displays, it will become dull or it will become start malfunctioning. Instead of say showing 7, it will show 9. Like that, that has to be inspected and replaced. After 7-8 years, it will be the failure breakdown rating and the time will increase. So normally, all the parameters has to be checked every year. All the parameters. In fact, Johnson having the checklist. Every month, one lift, one part will check. For example, contract is from January to December. January, the people will concentrate on the machine. February, they will concentrate on the controller. March, they will concentrate on the overspeed governor. April, they will concentrate on the core and core assembling. Like that, it will go, sir, after 7 years. So normally, after high-rise building, high-rise and other buildings, that after 10 years, normally people will have a opinion of go for the latest version, latest sophisticated model based on the sensor, displays, and core finishings like that. So normally we will contact the customer, go for any upgraded version required. It is optional to go for the customer. So after 15 years, we will suggest the customer to go for the necessary upgradation controller wise, first electrical wise, to have a trouble-free operation as well as reducing the downtime. This is the normal standard style of elevator upgradation schedule. Yes, sir. Any questions, sir?
There are a few queries on the chat box.
I have one question.
So I would like to read them out before others post their questions.
Okay.
So there is somebody, I read a query from Venkat, which says, why circuit board in the controller is the link in elevator, which always fails first and needs replacement every 3 years. Okay, and costs about 50,000 K. Is there any protection that can be provided to these circuit boards?
Yes, it is a good question, sir. Now, our controllers, all the elevators, they will have first they will have the SMPS, remote power supply. Remote power supply. This will take care of the fluctuation of the voltage. Whatever the voltage fluctuation happens, 380 to 440. 440, whatever the fluctuation happens. Below is lower cutoff is 380, higher cutoff is 440. Whatever the fluctuation happens, it will take care. Apart from that, we will have the MCBs, ELCBs in the controller, to take care of this fluctuation voltage, which will directly affect the circuit boards. In circuit boards itself, they will have various protection. Instead of burnt out or instead of damaging the circuit board, they will have the type of fuse that photoelectric diode, so many transistors they involved in the circuit board. But one thing, whatever we are giving is the minimum production. We are not giving the UPS or this thing to the controller or the supply, because your computer having the UPS, no, actually we cannot provide the UPS to the lift, all the lift, because the rating of the UPS will go up. Rating, suppose for example, 20 passenger lifts will require a 17 Ah UPS. We cannot provide it. So this minimum, whatever the production given, will take care of the normal fluctuation, normal low voltage, normal higher voltage, normal surge in the voltage, current surge in the thing will take care. In case of lightning, in case of your HT line, suppose HT line short circuit, for example, any HT line cord cut and short circuit themselves, what is the momentary higher voltage feeding into the controller? That time there may be a chances of 50% chances of circuit failure. It will happen once in a blue moon. It is very randomly given. So, but minimum production already given. So you need to understand one thing, that electronic circuit boards are having its own lifetime. Obviously, first 3 years there won't be any failure or malfunction. Up to after 3, 4, and 5th year, there may be a little concern on that 50%. After that, it's required a replacement. After 5 years, it will require a replacement of circuit board will happen. Yes.
Okay, the other question I read is, Vidya has asked, is there a need for separate ARD? If it is,
Yes.
Is there a need for separate ARD if inbuilt nearest landing or such mechanism is provided?
No, sir, you are asking ARD, no? Automatic
take this?
rescue device. Yes, sir, your voice is a little disturbed there. That's why I'm again asking the question.
Yes,
You
correct.
want to add ARD, automatic rescue device.
Yeah, can I ask that question, Shankar?
Yes, yes, tell me, madam. Your voice is clear.
Yeah,
Tell me.
Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah. Okay. So basically, we see that when the electrical inspectorate does come in for lift inspections, this
Yes.
is a standard default which is pointed out. Whereas
Yes.
we have about 12 Johnson lifts in our apartment as well, and
Yes.
we all know that there is a safety mechanism provided, wherein in case of power failure or so, the
Yes.
elevator has the nearest, goes to the nearest landing. It does not get
Yes.
stuck or it does not crash or any of those things. But still,
Yes.
the insistence on ARD, because that's a huge expense per lift if we undertake. So is it,
Yes.
as long as the safety is inbuilt, is there any need for additional ARD device?
No, no, madam. That point number one, that the ARD is developed in the last 6-7 years. Previously, the lift installed in Bangalore, more than 40-50,000 elevators are without ARD only working in the market. Second one, ARD it is nothing but it is a battery backup. It is also one type of UPS. It will supply the power to the controller for 15 to 20 seconds. As soon as the power cut, it will support the controller to bring the car to the nearest floor by very slow speed and open the door and it will switch off automatically. That is the ARD. What is the inspector are insisting the customer to go 3 things. One is the overload device in the lift. Second one is the battery operated alarm. If the people stuck, they have to press the alarm, they have to go. Third one is the automatic rescue device.
To hear you.
Yes, sir. First is alarm. Alarm should be provided in the lift in case of power cut. Are you hearing? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Specifically on ARD.
Second one is overload. Third one is the ARD. Nowadays, what are the supplies giving right now?
Yes,
all
yes,
the
yes.
are equipped
We can
with
hear you
ARD.
now.
Yes, sir. Now, new recent supplies of last 2-3 years, all the lifts are equipped with ARD. Previously, it became optional for the customer. So most of the customers got ARD, like Shobha or big builders with high-rise buildings are already equipped with ARD. So they will ask you the ARD is working all right. It is maintained properly by the OEM. They will ask the certificate. They won't you to go for the second ARD or additional ARD. That is the thing. So now they are asking about the ARD, overload, and alarm. Three things are essentially required in the use of passenger. That is the safety additional data. Moreover, one more thing they are testing the door sensors. Door sensor. Previously, what happened? That automatic door, grill gate is now banned by the Karnataka government. All you are aware, no? Manual doors are banned by the Karnataka government.
Yeah.
So now we have to go for the automatic door. So if it is manual door only allowed in the goods lift or in the factory side, for passengers they are insisting us to go for the automatic lift. Now the automatic lift should have the door sensor. So as soon as previously what happened, if you go, door will come and press you, and one pressure switch will be there on the top of the door. That the pressure switch will get activated and door will go back. But nowadays, recent days, it is all infrared sensors. If you show one piece of paper between the door, wherever the door it is, if it is in the clear 100% open or 50% closed, wherever, whatever the condition you show the piece of paper, the door will automatically go back. That is what they are insisting. Sensor, ARD, as overload device also nowadays insisting in the higher capacity lift and alarm button. Whenever it stuck inside, they have to press the alarm button. It should be audible to your security. That one. If most of the apartments not maintain the intercoms are being connected to the lift, but there are some reasons it is not very much useful. Sometimes there is not the handset, sometimes it is not working. Some reasons it is not 100% mandatory.
Okay.
So very specific to your question, ma'am. So ARDs are now mandatory with the new installations that are being carried out these days.
Yes.
Okay.
It is a form of supply. No lift is.
But those existing, yeah. But if existing lifts, they do have a backup power mechanism. There is no need for ARD, right?
Madam, what happened? No, previously, people having the generator with AMF. AMF means nothing but auto mains fail. If it is your power supply fail, your generator has to start automatically. It has to connect power to the lift. That is the thing.
Correct.
Whenever this is having the AMF, they are allowing us to give the license. But now lift inspector is saying if you have the AMF also, that will should have the diesel. Suppose it has to be maintained properly. Suppose any issue is there, there are a lot of chances of people stuck inside the lift. That's they are advising us to go for the ARD. Suppose it is not installed the package of initial purchase. ARD is the optional device. At any time it can be added on to your lift. So the older lift slowly
modernization.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any notification?
Yes,
is there
madam.
any notification with respect to this ban on the manual doors?
Yes, madam. It is there.
Would you be able to share that notification with us also? Yeah. Sure.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, we will do that.
So what about the older lifts that they have manual doors or collapsible gates? So they can continue.
Yes, sir. What they are not saying manual door or colossal gate. The gates, what the advice is saying, we have to go for the imperforated doors. Imperforated means without holes. The door should not have the holes. Children should not give their hands across the door. That is their intention. Because every annum, 6 to 7 accidents happen in across India. The children giving their hand across the car and landing doors, wherever the holes are there, colossal gate, giving the hand, some incidents are happening. What they are telling, imperforated door. Imperforated means automatically it should be the telescopic or standard center opening doors we have to do, which is indirectly automatic doors. Automatic doors. That we have option. All the some lifts already designed and running for 20 years with colossal gate, which can be covered with the metal sheets. So then only they are giving the license for 10 years. So every 10 years once, as of now, previously the license given to the lift is a lifetime. Once you got a license, it is a lifetime till it is dismantling. Now every 10 years once we have to renew the license. Every 10 years renewal when you are approaching, they will insist you to provide the perforated doors. Whereas in the case of colossal gate, you have to go for the colossal gate covered with the metal sheets. That is what they are insisting. Whereas other lifts have the option.
Sir, just one question.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. A couple of questions I had. One, as you said, previously there was lifetime license. Now it is 10 years. Don't you think 10 years is too, shorter time frame when the life of the lift is as much as the life of the building? Provided, of course, it is maintained well with an AMC, with the enlisted vendor, So, do you think 10 years and then every 5-year renewal is a fair compliance? I mean, is it too stringent and too unmaintainable?
No, madam. What happened? No? This is because of this lift accidents are increasing day by day. Point number one. Previously, there are only one inspector for all over Bangalore. Now it is divided into 8 offices, 8 divisions. What they are telling, they are not saying only 10 years. Every 10 years, they have to come and inspect and allow you to renew the things. What are the deficiencies in your lift? What are the electrical side and lift vendor side? Everything they will monitor. As soon as what are the latest development happened in the market, they will insist you to provide add the feature in the lift. Probably thereafter nowadays people started providing the camera inside the lift. Camera, it is connected to the such a way. For that reason only, they are not saying 10 years it is completely closed or replacement. They ask you to inspect once and renewal for another 5 years. Again, the second 5 years based on the lift quality, they will do it. Otherwise, they will ask you to go for upgradation or the replacement.
So they believe 10 years is too long a time. Yeah.
Yes, 10 years.
Yeah, Mr. Maran.
Yeah.
Mr. Maran, you wanted to say a few things here.
Yeah, Mr. Abhishek, no, sorry. They believe 10 years is too long a time, and because of the accidents that have been happening, they believe 10 years is the right time to go for a renewal.
No, because see, while we are saying 10 years and all, every year they are anyway doing lift inspection. So they should be able to recommend at the right time to take right action. So why is there every year there is an electrical inspection? Then in 10 years you have to renew, and after the first time, and a 10-year license is given, and after that every 5-year renewing. So isn't that an overkill when every year anyway you are doing electrical inspection? And then based on that, you can recommend the action to be taken.
Yes, madam. That's every year inspection. That they are only doing for the malls and the big commercial complex. Even the rule is there, every year they have to come and inspect and other thing. Probably some bigger apartment who have the big office of maintenance, electrical division, mechanical division, plumbing division, like that. There are big group living, they are doing. Normally that every year inspection, lift inspector themselves don't have time to visit. They will go to the malls like Mandri Mall, Meenakshi Mall. They will have a very
sir, they should have, because it's not a free service or free inspection. They charge a bomb for that inspection. So it is a revenue generating also. Yeah.
If you are taking 50,000, 70,000 lifts installed in Bangalore, they are not able to do it. For smaller apartments, there may be a rule aside. They won't do it. That's why they made the last point of every 10 years you have to go and renew your license.
Okay.
If you finished, can I ask the other questions that others have posted?
Yeah, I have a couple of other questions. Maybe you can read from the chat box in that order, Shankar, so as to save time.
Yeah, that's what I would. Right, that's what I want to do. Here is one thing. I don't know whether it's come in the chat window. Mr. Bala, the question is there a standard maintenance checklist that you can share with us in the apartment community for a general check on the lifts? Please, can you do that? That's not a place in the presentation, it will be of great interest to all our community
Yes, sir.
members.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I request if that can be done. It can be done separately, then we can take it forward. Then there is one interesting question that has come up in the chat window. Quite often people, we hear of news about lifts crashing down and coming down. Out of interest, we want to know how does this happen and why does this happen?
Okay.
So to be honest, this is a thing of yeah, Mr. Bala, sorry, you can.
Yes, yes. Tell me, sir. Come again, sir. Lift. You are talking about?
Very often not very often. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Often we read in the newspaper of lifts just dropping down and crashing down. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So how is it that this is happening? People are interested to know what could be the reason.
Yes, sir. I tell you, sir. Sir, point number one, that lift, that if you are suddenly see the newspaper, they will say lift accident, rope cut, cable cut and fall down, like that only the message will come, sir. Point number one. Second one, if you are seeing in the paper, you won't find any reputed company supplied and maintained the lift. It never ever happened this type of accidents or incidents. Two things. It will happen to the thing. It is unbranded as well as local lifts, which builder has got it for a cheaper rate. People gone to the Bombay or Gujarat or Ahmedabad, they got the material and installed in that thing. It doesn't have any permission, license. There is no safety audit in this lift. That is the thing. Again, coming to the point, you need not worry about the things what you are reading in the paper. All with the local vendors, with the local small-time builders, they will provide and gone, and it is not being maintained. It is rapid. It doesn't have any quality check and safety checks on that. Again, coming to the branded lifts, if branded lifts, there is no history of that rope has cut. It is fallen into the pit. Such a history is not happened because factor of safety in the lift is 20. Suppose it's required to carry 1 kg, our ropes are decided to carry 20 kgs of this thing, right? That is the thing. There is 20 times more than the requirement our people will do because it is the come under the elevator. Elevator is meant for human use. It is there. Point number one. Point number two. Already my colleague Mr. Abhishek has given a nice presentation, which is 6-7 hours of safety, sales, everything he combined for 45 minutes. In that he told, no, sir, overspeed governor. In case of the lift rope breakage, the overspeed governor, which will fixed under the lift car, it is an electromechanical device. It's clutch. It's having a clutch mechanism which will act and hold the lift wherever it is happened. If it is exceeding the rated speed or the rope cut, it will catch the mechanism. It will stop the lift car then and there itself. Second one. So these are the lifts. It is not maintaining by the original equipment supplier. It is not being serviced for years together. Then the people used to met with the trap in the lift, or it is going and sitting in the buffer, or some other incidents used to happen in the with a non-scheduled or unorganized people's maintained the lift used to happen. Whereas in the regular suppliers, OEM like Otis, Johnson, Coney, all these people will have the lift breakdown used to happen because of 3 reasons. One is the power failure, another one is the circuit failure. There won't be any safety failure. 2 reasons. One is power failure or circuit failure. So people normally will trap inside the lift. The automatic rescue device will come into the operation. If not, 1 out of 1 million cases, automatic rescue device is not working in the place, the trained people has to go and rescue the people out. For that reason, your trained people has to go means there are a procedure you have to follow. First and foremost, the door open key should be very reachable and accessible with the security or the main place or the main common place. The trained person, your electrician or the trained security or your trained people in the apartment or the managing committee has to take the key and open the door and take the people out from the company. Second one, it is always advisable the person trapped inside the lift should not come out, themselves or himself, because that is a dangerous action. If he stuck, anybody stuck inside the lift, they can attract the people from outside by the way of calling the mobile from the mobile, or alarm, or by the pressing the hooters, whatever the hooters given intercoms. They have to attract the people outside. Outsider only has to rescue the trapped people. Third one. Fourth one, while trapped people is coming out, the rescue people should ensure he should not slip down into the lift pit. Again, while coming out, while you are doing a stool or something, you are coming out, the person should not slip down into the lift pit. Nowadays, the new lift having the toe guard. It is a toe guard mechanism in the car and landing. Whatever the person you stopped it, the people cannot fall into the lift pit. Such a way it is designed and given to the customer. There is no, the older lift, the people can again, whoever the people trapped inside the lift there is chances to fall into the pit during the rescue. In the older lift, new lift, there is no chances to falling into the pit. That's also clear. So again, coming to the point, wherever you are seeing the lift rack, the lift snag fallen down or cable cut, it is used to happen in the local lifts in the market or not maintained lifts. It only happened in the things, it is serious concern. For that only 7 series of...
Also because there are multiple strands of wire, so the chances of cutting down are very rare in a branded company that provides a rope. And similarly, the overspeed governors are mandatory. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That is okay.
I have one question. I have one question. We have 2 Johnson lift in our apartment. Ours is only 1+3 apartment.
Okay.
But most of the time I notice the lift come and stop. There will be a level difference. The car level will be lower than the floor level. So people, if they don't notice it, they will fall down while coming out or getting into the door. How it is happening like that?
Okay. How many years old apartment, madam? This is?
Pardon?
How many years? Your building is how many years old?
1+3.
No. 1+3 is there. How many years old?
Age of the
It is only nearly 6 years.
6 years. Okay. This can be, if your lift is equipped with variable voltage, variable frequency drive, we can give the level difference of plus or minus 5 mm. That is plus or minus 5 mm.
It's not mm, nearly 3-4 inches difference is coming.
That 3-4
many times people fallen also.
Okay. There may be a chances of level switch malfunction, floor switches. It can be corrected. You tell me the apartment name, madam.
That is Athasri apartment, Whitefield.
Athasri.
Can you spell it?
ATHASHRI.
Why don't you close the detail in the chat box? It is easier. Okay.
Okay. Okay. You are in our maintenance now, madam? Johnson?
Yeah, we have an AMC also.
AMC with Johnson. Okay. We'll take.
I have another question on
minute flooring.
Lift replacement.
Are you offering granite flooring of your lift?
Can I ask lift replacement?
Lift replacement?
Yeah. On lift replacement, see, our apartment, the lifts are almost 20 years old, and there are, while we are evaluating some lift replacement things, we find that whatever the old lifts were and now the new models which are available, that if we were to go with that, it may involve civil works, which means widening or changing the shaft, the lift shaft width and so on. So for any such thing, is there a necessity or requirement for BBMP permissions, because it basically changes a little bit of whatever the sanction plan was?
Yes, madam. Now coming to the point, madam, that you have a 20 years old building. Now your lift is necessarily required for upgradation. because latest technology, safety upgradation, as well as the future upgradation. So your 20 years you have used machine brakes, machine V-sheaves and ropes, whatever the O-speed governor has to be replaced with the latest one, or has to be refurnished or serviced overall and continue to use for another 5, 6, 7 years usage. Thereafter you have to that is one. Second one, if you are going for the partial modernization is without changing the machine, without changing the floor numbers. Suppose you have 5 floors, you are not extending to one more floor to terrace. That condition, you don't want to go for any approval from the lift inspector. You don't want to go for any license upgradation, particularly for this modernization. That is called partial modernization. What you are doing, you are changing the controller, you are changing the light, you are changing the car finish or repainting, or in the landing call box you are changing, landing buttons, car buttons you are changing. There is no change of motor, machine, or number of floors are remain same. That is the condition. There is no approval required.
Madam. Yeah, madam, normally it is applicable for whenever we are replacing the machine or floor increasing, only it is approval need, ma'am.
Approval.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about replacing the existing lift entirely, which is including the car door, the car carriage and everything. Because of because it is not serviceable or maintainable the way it is now. So in that case, if any civil works is involved, does it need DBMP permission?
I will tell you, madam. I will tell you. Okay. There is 3 level of approval is required. First, existing lift, whatever you are having, that has to be dismantled. For that, we have to get from inspector. Point number 1. Point number 2, to erect the new lift, you have to get the permission from the CIG, Chief Electrical Inspector's Office. Second level approval. Third level, the license to use the passenger to use the lift. Everything over. New lift has provided to get the license to use the lift. That license you have to get. That is the 3 level is there.
Okay, the first one I missed because the voice was choppy. What was the first one?
First one, the existing lift, whole lift, whatever running in the building, to dismantle, to remove the lift, we have to get the permission.
Oh, that also from CIE. Okay.
Yes. That is the lift inspectorate, somebody will be electrical.
Okay.
Lift authority.
That. But I will wait to hear from you on any civil work related permissions if needed.
Nothing. DBMP not involved for alteration of civil work unless until you are increasing the one. Then again, floor approval from the BBMP you have to get. You have to involve. Anything one.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I have a question on granite flooring. Are you offering granite flooring for your lift? And if granite flooring has to be put, is there any additional modifications required, in terms of weight capacity of the lift?
Yes, madam. If it is along with the package, you got the granite flooring, so that compensation weight will be supplied from our factory, or any vendor, any elevator suppliers will calculate and take the weight from the factory. After installation, you are going to provide the granite. We have to raise the sill level. Suppose granite flooring required 20 mm recess required in the car. 20 mm recess, we have to increase the car sill and doors we have to increase. That is the one part at the field. That is required, involve some man hours and manpower required. Second one, suppose you are providing the granite inside this approximate of 300 kgs or 200 kgs, or minimum 150 kgs it will take. We have to add 1.5 times to the counter. 150 into 1.5 times. To 150 plus 75 kgs, 220 kgs solid weight. It is cast iron weight or the lead weight. You have to add in the backside of the lift. That is a counterweight, balancing weight. You have to add, which will involve some costing and manpower and execution.
Yeah, but when you say when you offer the lift and you are saying it is 5 passenger capacity and say 340 kg or whatever it is. And when you add the granite is adding an extra weight, right? Does it affect, even the rating of the lift, or it is separate?
Yes, madam. Now what happened, madam? Whenever whatever the weight you are adding in the car, you are adding 1.5 times in the counter. It will get balanced. It will take. But there is a small criteria. If it is 100 kg, 150 kg, it will manage. You cannot add more than that. But nowadays, lift sellers, lift suppliers are selling with a basic elevators or compact. Like
okay, thank you. And from your experience, are there many people choosing for it? Is there any safety issue? What is the durability of granite flooring?
Granite flooring. Hello.
Yeah, continue. Yeah.
Okay, madam. Granite flooring normally we recommend for hotels, some software companies, and the big apartment where the maintenance people are there to maintain it. Small apartments having 12 flats, 14 flats, or 24 flats, they are running through the maintenance through the normally with the security people and other things. We won't recommend for the granite flooring. Reason being, any damages or any issues happen, replacement is not very easy. That cases we are recommending for only going for the PVC tiles, polyvinyl chloride PVC tiles, which will be pasted on our checker plate, MS checker plate, which can be removed and replaced at any point of time, whatever the color required, whatever the design required, any point of time. That replacement hours is only 2 hours. 2 hours we can replace it at cost.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Bala.
thank you.
I just want to say we are getting close to 1 o'clock, or we are past 1 o'clock. So
yes,
I hope everybody's queries are answered. If not, please post them in the chat box. We'll try to address them separately. But one closing general information I want, Mr. Bala, is, most of the people are now required to go for refurbishment. I don't want to call it modernization. So how is the elevator industry or companies like you handling it? Because, for people to invest in a new lift or modernize a lift, it's very expensive. How are you people dealing with the customer challenges or the user challenges? Because are these now being made into some kind of modules that people can remove and fix, rather than getting into more complex ways of going into an overall for refurbishment or modernization? Because, most people who own apartments, they put their life savings, and it becomes very difficult for them to invest repeatedly, even if it is 10, 15 years or 20 years on such large, facilities which are very expensive. And more often, every 15 years or 20 years, it's difficult in spite of having a regular and organized AMC setup.
Yes, sir. I'll come into the point. Sir, one thing, sir. This is now why the modernization of 15 years it has happened. There are a lot of sophisticated items are add on into the lift. Whenever the sophistication items are add on into the lift, it are all electronic spots. Electronic spots, normal lifetime is minimum 7 years. If you are going for your fridge, washing machine, or electrical TV, everybody is assuring you the thing spare support is only 7 years. Some cases within 7 years also, what are telling buyback or anything you want to upgrade, any repairable, you return the old one, get the new model and go out, because they keep the spares for manufacturing the spares for another 10 years, minimum 10, 15 years. It's such a big span for the elevator industries, electronic spares. And also second thing, nowadays most of the spares are right now we are importing, or they are manufacturing in India and supplying to us. They cannot the elevator spares or model more than 15 years. That is the problem for first basic requirements. Second one, that safety features. Every 10 years one, there's so many safeties or complaints, or they are keep on adding into the lift, that condition. So that is the case. After 15 years, going for the upgradation is very much mandatory. Upgradation what means customer, as a customer point of view, they will ask us to change the panels, core panels into the stainless steel or latest version, or chickering, or powder coated finish, or melamine finish, like that only customer point of view will be there. But our point of view, the safety, the controller machines are already 15 years service is over, which required refurbishment and also major overhauling or upgradation is required in the machine and the controller. So if you are going to the machine, that the machine can be overhauled and extended for another 10 years. Whatever the machines are now we are supplying can be extended the life. Whereas controller is purely electronic parts which cannot be extended for further lifetime. If you are replacing 15 years old controller, again we are going for the same replacement, it won't be worthwhile. You have to go for the latest version with the new features as well as which we are replacing, which will help you for another 7 to 10 years. 7 to 10 years give a support to give a trouble-free operations and minimum downtime to give the customers. So in the point of view, I will tell you, nobody using the electronic items like mobiles or TV or any laptops, anything more than 3 years, 4 years. Whereas in the lift circuit boards, whatever the electronic items, whatever recently we are supplying, it is we are asking the customer for 15 years. After the 15 years, two benefits. One is safety. Second one is the features, additional features what you are getting to the thing. What are the features? Lot of feature is there. Call cancelling, reverse call cancelling, and so many features are there in the thing. IoT features are there. You can monitor your lift through your mobile, where the lift, what is the breakdown it is happening. It will automatically will get the SMS. All these features will be added. Second one. Third one is the spare support. Spares, 15 years support itself a big task for us. Beyond 15 years, no manufacturer, original equipment manufacturer, and keep the spares. What the designers happened 15 years back, they are able to supply nowadays. In fact, Johnson lifts 40, 45 years old lifts are working in market with 10 years once small upgradation is happening. So now you are wall sets are not available. Now transistor sets are not available. Now you are going to the LCD. LCD is gone. Now LEDs are here using it. Same way. This development is a continuous process. Whereas our industries are dedicated and giving the assurance to the customer for minimum 15 years. That is the thing. So there is no other option left to us. After 15 years, people are using the lift. Now, madam is saying 20 years they are using. The customer won't be happy. Again, downtime, the suppliers don't have spares to replace in time. Again, the downtime is increasing. That is the reason.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bala. So we can take a reckoning that every 15 years or 20 years, every apartment association must be prepared for a budget for refurbishing or modernizing a lift, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is best. Yes. That is best for all round. These are. One is the downtime, second one is the safety, third one is the customer satisfaction. All three will fulfill with this upgradation.
Very well. Thank you. I have finished. Are there any more questions? Can we close down?
Shankar sir, Umesh here.
Yeah.
Regarding the AMC charges, how to justify it? Each vendor gives a different AMC charges. How one should know about what is the actual AMC charges? How to arrive at it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Normally, OEM cannot be compared with the private or freelancers. Normally, this OEM is fixing the AMC charges upon the first year after the pre-service 4 to 5%. Suppose you got the lift for 10 lakhs, 40,000 is 40 to 50,000 based on the specification, based on the number of floors, based on number of flats occupied. We are classified lift into 3 categories: low, tens, low, medium, tens, like that. They will fix the charges, sir. All OEM, not only Johnson. OEM will fix it. Suppose you got a lift in the 10 lakhs, total invoice value is 10 lakhs, 4 to 5%. 40 to 50,000 is the AMC charges, basic charges. It is inclusive of comprehensive. Yes. Nowadays, nobody using the word comprehensive. They fix the name of platinum. Somebody is put as a gold. Somebody is as a super. Somebody giving like that name. Why this normally that consumable like light, fans, batteries are not covered by the contract normally. Or contract. This is remaining 97% of the spares are covered by the comprehensive contract. What you are expecting is a comprehensive. That contract covers 97% of the spares. motor, controller, sensors, machines, ropes, doors, door, elevator, remote switches, buffers, everything covered by the contract. Only few items are left out in the comprehensive contract. That is one. This is first option. Second option is some people will have that less usage. We don't go for the comprehensive. We will go only labor contract. Labor means our people will come and work and do the service and attend the breakdown. Everything has to be charged. For that, we used to give 2 to 3%. So 10 lakhs is there, 20 to 30,000 rupees. Suppose it is a 25 landing, we will fix on 33%. If it is the 4 landing, we will fix on 2%. That is 20,000 to 30,000 is the charges we are applying, giving to the customers. This is minimum affordable price to operate with the safety, with the manpower, with the attending the breakdowns, everything is.
Okay. Right. Can we now close down? Thank you, Mr. Bala. I don't know. Anybody else has any other question important?
Yes. Anybody has any
Thank you, Bala, and your team.
I think, sorry, Shankar.
Have all the questions. Yeah, who's this? Yeah, go ahead.
Sandhya here. Shankar, I think there was a question whether OC or Khata is required, mandatory for obtaining new lift licenses.
Madam, OC they won't ask. Normally, they will ask. There are 7 this thing, madam. First is your architect plan. Architect plan should have they should show the lift in the thing. Again, number of floors with the architect plan and the installation should match. Architect plan showing 7 landing, 7 floors. There your number of real installations match with 7 floors. Second one is tax paid receipt. Tax paid receipt. And who is applying, their names you should have the Khata. Their name should be the Khata. Then important point is that the building height is more than 15 meters. You need to get a certificate of multi-storage building certificate, MSP. It is called MSP. If it is less than 15 meters, it is not required. If it is more than 15 meters, it is required MSP certificate. This certificate you have to put. Again, you should have the RR number. RR number is permanent power supply. So once your permanent power supply is connected, they will give RR number. That RR number has to be that receipt will be attached to the pipe. These are the 5 parameters has to be given. There is no need of OC. After getting the lift license only, they will supply the OC to the building.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I think one more is, what are the self-diagnosis features available?
What is the self-diagnosis means? That resident has to diagnose thing or lift? Technically you are asking, or manually diagnose? So technically, if you are seeing the overload, whenever the people are getting overload, lift will diagnose instead of 6 passengers, 7 passengers inside, it will diagnose and it will announce lift overload. Please, one person will go out, like that. Second one is anybody between the doors, any obstacle between the doors. Sensor will diagnose some obstacle is there in between the door. You should not close it. You should open. Anybody put the bucket or any housekeeping will put the mop. Keep the door, it will diagnose and it will start whistling the things. Second one. Third one will be the as I said, that power supply side, over current, over voltage, low voltage, over voltage, it will sense and announce. It will be there. If there is any power cut, our lift will sense the power cut or trap in between the floor lift has stopped. Self-leveling, it will come to the next level. By itself, by power or by using the ARD, automatic rescue device, or using the USB, this thing power battery backup will take the lift to the next floor, and it will keep opening the door and doing. That is a self diagnosing by the controller and things.
Okay. Thank you. I think all the queries are done. Shankar?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bala. I appreciate your coming forward to share so much of information. There are still, of course, some that will always be there. We would like you to respond to us separately when we approach you. And
Okay.
the main thing I requested is is about this maintenance checklist, no? Something that an
Yes.
average apartment association can have for a broad
Yes, sir.
guidance, following through on that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Please
Yes,
help.
sir. I'll share with you. I'll share with you, sir. You can share the picture.
Thank you.
I want
Thank
to,
you very much.
yes, thank you, from sir, BAF, as well as my team, Mr. Vel Murugan and Shivashankar, and especially to Abhishek, who prepared this presentation. He compactly made for 40 minutes and gave a nice presentation to you, sir. That's what I want to thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Mr.
Mr.
Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Desh, for organizing
Thank you.
this,
Thank you.
Thank
this
you,
meet.
Sanjay.
And sorry for the initial hiccups that occurred due to the
Yes,
poor
sir.
bandwidth.
Normally it will take happen.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay.